Good evening, Mr. Ice, Miss Case, and Miss Jones. Good evening, boys and girls, and all of our Lincoln families.
Good morning, Miss French. Good evening, Miss French Ebbs. Good evening, Mr. Ice. Good evening, Miss Case. Good evening, boys and girls and El Paso families. I am so excited for our families and students to get to know our new principal, Miss Case, and find out a little more about you.
Hi, everybody. It's exciting to be here tonight, and I want to share a lot about me tonight, and I can't wait to learn more about you as we get to school in January in NTI, and hopefully very soon in person. Fingers crossed.
Yes, thank you, Miss Case. So, boys and girls and Lincoln families, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you this evening our next principal. And I know that Miss Case has a lot of information to share about herself this evening. But what I would like to share is that I have known Miss Case for several years because of her work at the Youth Performing Arts School, both as a professional, as we work together to collaborate as sister schools and partners. We've had the chance to work together. And I've also had the opportunity to know her as a parent because both of my students went to the Youth Performing Arts School under Miss Case's leadership. And I'm so excited that she will be here to take Lincoln to the next level, to continue our great work, and to help Lincoln Performing Arts School once again be that shining beacon of light nationally. So without further ado, I am going to turn this evening's presentation over to Miss Melissa Case.
Thank you so much, Miss French Ebbs. I appreciate that. So as she said, we have known each other for a while, but I'm going to go way back to start telling you a little bit about myself. And so I'm going to share a little presentation with you. It's nothing fancy, but
I don't think it's going to be fancy, Miss Case.
I promise it's not. Just pictures, because to me, pictures really do say a lot. And I just wanted to start out. First of all, I grew up on a farm in rural Hardin County in the metropolis of Big Spring. And in fact, here are a couple pictures from our farm. You can see the beautiful sunset and the combines. And the reason I bring this up is because it's a big part of my heart. And I had to work very hard on that farm as a young child. As an elementary kid, I was working in the tobacco patch. I was helping in the barn and with the hay. And I think that is one of the things that made me be such a hard worker from the beginning. So on this farm, there was my house and there was also my grandmother's house. And so every day, starting in 4th grade, I took piano lessons. And every day I would walk up the hill from our house to my grandmother's house to practice piano because that's where it was. Come rain, sleet, or snow. My mom would drive me sometimes, but I was so dedicated and loved playing piano so much that I would walk there every day on the farm. In fact, here's a picture of me, my very first piano recital.
I love it, Miss Case.
That was me as a 5th grader, the same age as some of our students who are watching right now. And I was so excited to have my first piano performance. So I loved piano so much. And when I got to middle school, there was the opportunity to join band. I had to wait to middle school where I lived. I couldn't do that in elementary school. So as some of you may have heard on our morning show the other day, I decided to play the trombone. And I'm going to show you some high school hair here a little bit. In the left ear is my bangs. It's before a big band competition that we had. And I love playing the trombone. And I continued to play both throughout high school and even still today. And in fact, here's a picture of me from a concert just a couple of years ago, because I love to perform and be in the arts. So in addition to being like instrumental music, I did go to college as an instrumental music major, but I also have ventured on stage a little bit. And so I had to bring out a few pictures just so you would know. I've served as musical director for several productions, and here I am. I was musical director for Andy Get Your Gun, and this is our cowboy band that we have to wear these beautiful costumes as you see, and this is me back here conducting. In addition, there's me as Elsa in The Sound of Music. I did Young Frankenstein last year, which was a hoot. I was Maria in Lend Me a Tenor. And then I told you all I was a mermaid, so I had to prove it and bring out the mermaid. I was Arista, probably the oldest mermaid ever in our local production, but had a lot of fun with that.
That is so cool. I want to tell you that, I don't know if you know, but I grew up on a farm too. So your pictures reminded me of my farm growing up with tobacco and hay. And I played a little bit of piano, but I wasn't as cool as you were playing piano. And if you don't know already, Miss Case, I do love a good costume.
I grasped that just a little bit. There was something I had about costumes and Mr. Ice. So that's not going to stop. And if I'll put on a tail and a mermaid outfit, who knows what's coming. So I continue to do this and be involved in the community. I've done this a lot where I lived in Elizabethtown, but since I've moved to Louisville, I still commuted some to do that, but I've been involved with the Louisville Winds, which is a performance group, and we put on concerts about 3 times a year when we're able to do so. So in addition to me being involved in the arts and loving the arts, my family is full of artists. Both of my children were fortunate enough to be accepted into the Governor's School for the Arts. In fact, this was proud brother dropping off sister at Governor's School for the Arts on the first day. And you can see a few photos of us here together. We've had opportunities to perform together. In fact, the one right here is when we performed at KMEA conference with the Louisville Winds, which was really cool. Just to talk a little bit more about them, because who doesn't like to talk about their kids?
You're like Miss French.
I do. I like to talk about my kids.
So my son Mason, he's an instrumentalist. He plays all low brass instruments. Did all state band, as I said, GSA, but he also went on to march in the Cadets Drum and Bugle Corps and the Bluecoats Drum and Bugle Corps, which is very challenging and exciting and prestigious. So he went on to college to study music some, but is now in banking. So you never know what path. He loves the arts, and I said he still plays in some of the ensembles, and we even get to play together some, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to make music with my own child. So, and then my daughter, she was involved at a very young age in musical theater. Here's some of the roles she's been able to do and be a part of. And then she also enjoyed dance. Now, she's one of those girls, I'll be honest, she loved to do everything. She did travel ball and she did soccer. But by the time she got to high school, she just focused on musical theater and dance. And ultimately, she graduated school a year early to go to Ballet Chicago to train, and has been dancing professionally since. So the top pictures are a few from her professional career that she's had so far.
Wow, you have amazing children, Miss Case.
Yeah.
They're beautiful and talented. And I will say that is something else that we have in common. Is my son is also a musician, and my daughter is also a dancer.
I love it. And I see someone in the comments said that her daughter's ballet teacher. Because of COVID, she was not able to, her studio or her company couldn't maintain this year financially. So she is in Louisville this year teaching at a local studio and getting the chance to be in the Louisville arts community as well. So while it's not an ideal situation, she has enjoyed being able to reach out in Louisville.
Well, Miss Case, I didn't grow up on a farm, and I don't have a daughter who dances or a son who plays, but I did play the piano when I was little. So you and I have that in common.
I think we may have to have some duets.
I would love it.
Sounds great. Love it. And then to round out the family, two that really are also children are my 2 dogs. So Winnie is on the right. She's really involved in visual art, as you can tell, with her work she's done here. My boyfriend got me.
Oh my goodness!
My boyfriend got me her last Christmas as a great surprise, and we had her first birthday here about a couple months ago. And then on the left is my golden doodle, Nellie. And Nellie is just sort of a little bit of a diva. She thinks toys and all that are silly, and she'd rather just lay around and be pretty. So it's fine.
Well, you and Mr. Ice have something in common.
Mm-hmm. My dog Mo is very like a prima donna type of guy. Doesn't want to play with toys and just lays around all day.
Yeah,
They
they're
look
too good for that. It's like child's play or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. So that tells you just a little bit about me personally and how things roll with me. And then next, I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience as an educator. And as I said, I went to U of L to get my music education degree and in instrumental music focused. But my first teaching job was a general music teacher at Homewood Heights Elementary School in Elizabethtown District, and I taught for 5 years. And then I also, after that, was the choir director at John Hardin High School. So I've taught grades K through 12. That is one of the great things about a music degree is it enables you to teach students of all ages. And it's hard for me to pick, like, oh, people will say, well, which do you like better? And I can't, because there's things about each level that are unique and just warm your heart. So in addition to doing that, I served as an assistant band director at Elizabethtown High School and John Hardin High School for 10 years. That made up a huge part of my life because, band is nonstop traveling, competitions, and it was a big part of what I did. So after that, I went on into administration, and I was assistant principal at John Hardin High School. And then I went back to the elementary school where I had started teaching and was fortunate enough to become the principal at GC Burkhead Elementary School. It's the largest, it still is the largest elementary in Hardin County. It had over 800 students in grades preschool through 5.
wow.
A lot of kiddos.
That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of runny noses, Miss Case.
Oh my goodness, it's a lot of buses. It's a lot of staff, over 100 staff to maintain and take care of. And it was just a blast. But during my tenure as the principal, we got a new facility. So I saw it from the start, groundbreaking of the facility to, you can see the ribbon cutting on top of that new facility. So it is sort of cool even to still drive by that school and know that, we got to work together to make such a great place for the students to learn. Our old building was 5 separate buildings built in the late 60s. Safety was not a thing at that. It was not set up well at all. So it was amazing to be able to do that and transition to this facility. Now, Miss French Epps, and as a principal, sometimes you have to do weird things,
That is true.
and sometimes students mock you maybe a little bit. So there are a few things that I, when I was principal, on the left, upper left, you see, this is me dressed as the lady with the alligator purse. I was going to read to the kindergarten class, when they were talking about the letter A. The imminent pie in the face, I think that was for a competition that we had for students. The one on the right, this is the only time you would have seen me doing the whip and nay-nay, but these kids at the talent show immortalized me by these big bobbleheads. They had a few other teachers, and they did that dance. But I'm a really bad dancer. Although my daughter can dance, I'm a bad dancer.
We're still, I told Miss Trumbo that if she can teach Mr. Ice to dance,
Yeah.
she gets a whole year's salary without working. Anything she wants. She could have dinner. She could have a vacation. If she can teach Mr. Ice to dance, so you're going to have a little, person in there that's helping you out.
Well, in this case, I will say that I'm glad that you had pied in the face experience. That's really important because that happens every February where we get pied in the face. So I expect you to get more pies.
Yes.
Up.
I
And-
do. Go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
I need to make a note, though. If you can see, there's a Kentucky shirt in there. The only reason I'm wearing that Kentucky shirt is that I didn't want my Louisville shirt to get dirty. So I know that to make that
Yeah.
as a U of L grad.
And our kindergarten team did a bobblehead of us as administrators too for a talent show. So very similar.
A lot of parallels, definitely.
I love it. And then we just fun things like lunch with the principal and award ceremonies and field day. That's always a fun thing. I somehow always end up soaked on field day, but I don't know. It's crazy. So those are a few things, just crazy things we've done. And then Miss French Epps, I know that you have challenges for the students. I've seen some of those. And
Yes.
ironically, I had some challenges for ours, especially on snow days. I made snow day challenges. In the picture in the top center, you can see him proudly sharing. I challenged families to bake something together and share it in our social media posts. And there were tons of them. We had another one was to build snow creations and share those. So I like to make them think and be active on those days while still being able to enjoy their family and each other. And then I'm not sure about the toilet paper. Again, just one of those weird things.
That wouldn't happen now, Miss Case. We have to save and preserve the toilet.
We can't find toilet paper.
2020. So we have father-daughter dances, and then we had a program called Watchdogs to get more males involved at the elementary school program. And the picture in the middle sort of wrapped up how they felt at the end of the day. They was up. And so I like to have fun at school. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And that goes for teachers too. So some of the things we did with teachers, we had chili cook-offs, and we had just like March Madness events, and we would invite in local community members to judge our events. Now, in Hardin County, I could get the mayor pretty easily to come in. You know? So it might be a little more challenging here, but we would do winter parties. One was a lip sync battle. I think the group on the upper right did Adele, and I mean, just ugly sweaters, you name it. We liked to have fun. In fact, some of them tagged me today in some memories of a scavenger hunt I had planned for them all over our town with some great videos. So I like to make it a place where people want to come to work and enjoy. Otherwise, I mean, it's not fun for anybody. So let's have fun doing what we love.
Well, that's one thing that we love to do at Lincoln is have fun. And so there are many parallels of the things that you did and the things that we currently do, but I'm very excited about to be partnering with you and continuing those traditions.
Oh, I can't wait.
Wait, Ms. Case, to see what you're going to do for your lip sync battle. Because we have a lip sync battle every year, and it's staff versus the parents. And I'm afraid that the competition is extremely tough.
Oh, no.
And I think my all-time favorite was when Mr. Price, our drama teacher, impersonated Tina Turner. To this day, it was my absolute favorite performance. That particular evening, I laughed so hard that my belly hurt from laughing so hard. So maybe Mr. Price, you
Ms.
could come
Jones?
back for another one. That would be awesome.
Miss Jones, put up your hand, Miss Jones. Don't forget about us, Miss Jones, and our wonderful hand movement. Wonderful lip sync.
Well, I'm just
tell that to you, Miss Case. You've never seen anything like it, I guarantee.
I'm really scared. And I'm really scared. I'm hoping the video doesn't emerge of me from that particular lip sync battle, because I did Wrecking Ball. And
it will show up.
I want to wipe it clear from my memory. So
That's the assistant principal challenge for tonight, boys and girls, is to find the video. I would like for you to find that video and please post it immediately to our social media pages.
I believe it'll show up on Facebook within the next day or two.
Yes. Well, let's take a moment and there are some wonderful hellos, I think, that were coming your way.
Yes.
Let me see. I thought I had them. Oh, here's a welcome to the school, Miss Case.
hi, Liliana. Thank you so much.
Oh, and Miss Rushing, our art teacher, said that Winnie has incredible skills in black and white art.
Wow.
Positive and negative space. So
Yes. And Miss Shelton says, nice to meet you, Miss Case.
thank you so much.
Oh, and my daughter's ballet teacher from Miss
Isn't that
Bird.
crazy? Yeah, that is so cool. World. My daughter has blue hair right now, which I think is a little crazy, but it's all the rage. Apparently, everybody's doing the COVID hair thing. So I don't know.
In this case, long before COVID, we had a creative hair. We've always had creative hair. So you might come to school and see any color, and we expect certain days for you to come in with some purple or a little blue in your hair, maybe some orange.
Oh, I love it. Yes. She can do it for me. She's a pro now. So
Okay.
Now, I don't even want to put this comment up because you better not know the move.
wait, Mr. Ice's favorite move? I don't know.
Well,
No.
you will find out his favorite move, and then his favorite song is Ice, 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 Baby.
I think we all know that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yes, so many people are commenting and saying welcome to you. There's so many comments, they're hard to get all of them up. And I know that you'll look at them as we're closing out when we close out the show and stuff. Let's see. Oh, wait. Here's one more from one of our teachers, Miss Rich. Welcome, Miss Case, from the Rich Girls.
All the rich girls, thank you.
Yeah. And our former PTA president, Miss Betsy Reese, says hi to you, Miss Case.
Good evening. Nice to see you. Glad you joined us.
See,
Yeah,
Amy Shelton, she's got that vanilla ice in there, Mr. Ice.
I saw it. This is the Melissa Case show now. That's what the morning show is for. That's my time to shine. I'm going to.
I love it.
Oh, man.
All
Well,
of the triplets are saying hi to you, Miss Case.
Wait, who's that?
Oh, there they are right there.
Oh, okay. It is so nice to meet you. And I know there's several sets of twins, and we have triplets. You're welcome. You may have to wear name tags for me.
That's right. I will say I really enjoyed your pictures and stuff, and you really have a lot going, and I look forward to seeing what you're going to bring to Lincoln with that, because
you know, you had a lot of things that really mirrored what we're currently doing, but
Yeah.
I love that you are just ready to jump in, have fun, and have such a warm, inviting atmosphere. So it just sounds like all of those great things that are happening, you're going to continue and then add on to them with your special twist. So this is really exciting.
I
It
can't
is.
wait. Yeah, without a doubt, because I think all those things, you know, there's different cultures and climate. There's a culture of high expectation and learning within a school that you want to have, but there's also a culture of loving and caring and nurturing and fun that should be in a school. And I'm all about both of those. So I know it's a strong, you know, El Paso already has a strong culture. So, you know, hopefully with fresh eyes, I can bring in new ideas and continue building up on that strong foundation that's already there. And I'm going to go ahead and jump into our next section, if that's okay, because that's sort of doing well, you know, sort of talking about my vision and dreams for the school, and that there are so many strong things already, both academically and culture and a sense of community. But for me right now, setting all that aside, my number one focus is to get kids back to school safely and make sure we're communicating how that's going to happen to parents on a regular basis. And it's really going to start up big as soon as we get back, based on what Dr. Polio, you know, mentioned in the board meeting last night, and regular communication about what that's going to look like and how we're going to make your child feel safe at school and make you feel like your child's safe. Because parents, I mean, I know there's hesitations from you, just worrying and all that. So I want to try to make you as comfortable as you can. And so focusing on that. And then once we do get back, we're going to probably have to reteach things like routines, how we walk down the hallway. Kindergarten's never been in the building. So those are important things we have to know. We're probably going to have to teach how to socialize with one another again. Even with adults, you get around someone else right now and it's a little like, what do we do? So for me, that is going to be my main focus. And it's going to take as long as we need it to take before we can get back to a sense of what a normal school day will look like. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when that comes, it comes, but that's not my focus right now. And it's all about making everyone feel safe. So once we do get to that point, though, I really look forward to building upon things. And I'm first of all going to talk a little bit about the partnerships and collaborations in the arts, because coming from YPAS, I'm very familiar with a lot of the things that El Paso already has going. You know, I've worked with El Paso on the Dance Mosaic program. I've seen y'all perform at the 4th Street Live event. I know some of our students at YPAS come and work with orchestra students. And so I really want to build upon those collaborations. I emailed that to the teachers at YPAS, for instance, and said, hey, you know, instantly the guitar teacher emailed me back. He was like, I would love to be able to start a program at the elementary school, and we want to do this and this. So, but we cannot jump into those things right now. We have to take baby steps in that regard, because we don't need to be any more overwhelmed than we've already been this year. Agreed? So, and then, sorry, hopefully no. Okay. And then,
is that your dog? Because I was getting ready to say, Roxy, down, Roxy.
It's my guard dog. Somebody's probably walking their dog. And then there's such strong collaborations. I work with the Louisville Arts Advisory Council, which is a strong collaboration with LPAS, Western, and YPAS, and all of the community organizations with Louisville Ballet, Actors Theater, Stage One, KMAC, and really looking for more opportunities for vertical alignment of the schools and more authentic performance opportunities for the students in the community. They're already doing a lot of great things, but there's more. There can always be more that are valuable and that are going to showcase the students and let them get to perform and do what they enjoy. And really, some of them, that may be the whole reason they wanted to come to LPAS. I mean, they're going to get a great education, but they know that the performing arts is a great focus there. Yeah. Instructionally, I want to help build upon the arts integration that you already have within your lesson planning. And then with the student learning logs and student-led conferences, I think those are greatly important because it helps students take ownership in their learning. And then also then probably something that might be a little bit newer that we would look at this year would be looking at the RTOL, which is the racial equity piece, which you look at your lesson plans to make sure that the lessons you're creating, the tests you're creating, don't have any type of biases towards one certain group or another. And I think that that's going to be important work for us to do pretty soon after we get back to that sense of normal, is really delving into that, because that is a newer piece for our district to be looking at. So I'm just double checking because there were a few things I wanted to make sure. Oh, and then the other thing is to work with our parents, organizations, and communication. So communication is a huge thing for me. I'm a planner and I like to know what's going on way down the road. So I assume that parents want to know that too. And so I will do my best to communicate up front with what's going on, whether it's return from MTI or school events that are happening that way. But the other thing is, parents, I want you to communicate with me. So if there's something that's upsetting you or concerning you enough that you're thinking about it all day, then you need to email me and say, hey, this is on my mind, or communicate to the teacher, whichever step it is. And I'm gonna respond to you and be there to help listen to your concerns and try to come to a solution that's best for the kids. And then working with the PTA. I know you all have a very strong PTA, and I was again, I mean, it's sort of weird how similar our schools are, even though my former one was not a performing arts school. The PTA was amazing. And it just so happened that they were people I went to high school with, of course, who were the moms. But having a new facility, you all are familiar with this, they had to raise the funds for a brand new playground. And the way that they did that over the short amount of time was miraculous. The things that they planned for students and for teachers was amazing. So I'm excited to see what all ideas that the PTA at LPAS has, see what goals that they have that will align with what goals we have for the school, and then build from there. So that's sort of in a nutshell. I could talk way long, but I'm not going to talk anymore about sort of where my mind is right now. But a lot of it's going to be me observing and listening when I first get in, listening to parents and listening to teachers and going from there. So,
I'm so excited. You have so many wonderful ideas, and I think it's going to blend wonderfully. And your fresh new eyes will help us achieve even more, because we have a very strong PTA and a wonderful staff of teachers that are willing and able to do anything that they can for students. So it's going to be a great partnership. This is wonderful.
Can't wait.
Looking forward to it. Yes.
Is it time for questions?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I do think, Ms. Case, that you've answered some of these questions.
And
so if there's anything else that you'd like to add, feel free to do so. But I'm going to start us off with the first question. And hi, Ms. Case. Are there any changes that you plan to make to the LPAS Arts program? Any immediate changes or dramatic changes?
Okay. All right. So the last thing I want to do this year is make any immediate or drastic changes. You've done that this year, teachers and parents. So again, I shared some of the ideas that I do have. And again, by observing what's happening within the actual instruction in the classroom and seeing how it works, I do have some ideas, but those are going to be more long-term goals that we would look at in expanding some programs and hopefully some resources. So that, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I have a question from our community too. It says, welcome to El Paso, Ms. Case. Many of the families I represent express to me how much they rely upon the support and consistency that El Paso community as a whole provides. 2021 is shaping up to be an exciting roller coaster ride for our students and families at El Paso with a new principal and a possible return to school in the spring. How will you continue to provide them with support and consistency as you begin your tenure? And I think you've answered some of that in your conversation.
Yeah, a lot of this is our return to school plan where we can focus on that, making everyone feel safe and communicating well amongst our El Paso community. But then also, I think one thing that's important as part of the culture is that there are often a lot of the end of the year activities. And if we're going back, it's going to be near the end of the year, and trying to find out, what some of those traditional things that are in place at El Paso that we might be able to continue or modify. So there's still that sense of this is comfort. This is what we're used to. And we want that opportunity to do sort of the things that have been done. And that will help create some of that consistency that are going to make parents, students, teachers, administrators feel more comfortable.
And Ms. Case, I have the next question. The one constant the students and families have had over the last 9 months has been the 9:30 morning meeting. Will you be continuing the morning meeting? Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Well, that is my plan, and I'm going to be working with Mr. Ice directly on that because he is really the spearheader of that morning show. Miss French Epps has trained me in her dance and those skills that I'll need to make that success.
No, Miss Case, it's a new era. No more.
It's a new one.
I can't wait. I'm so excited because yes, the morning show is a great way that we connect to our families.
Yes,
without a doubt, and it is that sense of normalcy that I think is great, and just getting to see faces I think is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Ms. Case, many children at El Paso love the performing arts, which puts a lot of students wanting to be involved in the major spring musical, but not enough spots. And we also have students who want to be involved, but don't want to be on center stage. What ideas do you have to allow for more opportunities for involvement for our students who want to feel involved in the spring performance, but not necessarily in a speaking role?
Well, so when I was at YPAS, one of my big jobs was being production manager for all the shows. And I will tell you that a show and the performers on stage are just one very small part of a production. So there are opportunities to do things such as technical design, which is lighting, sound, set, costumes, all of those things, props that go into making a place appear during the scenes. There's also things like marketing. Students could help market, video some of the rehearsals and edit and put things together. They're really swift. I'm sure they're better at that than you, Miss French Epps, since you aren't very
I go to the students when I need help with technology.
Right. So them learning to help market events, ushering and teaching how to the proper way that you usher and work with people in the theater so it's a nice environment for production. There are so many ways to be involved in a show that are not on stage, and in fact that's what some people really prefer, is to not be on stage, and then it's just as rewarding though.
Right. I have the next question for you, Ms. Case. It says, at El Paso, one of the things I love is the communication between the PTA and the administrators and teachers. Decisions about fundraising and ways to spend those funds are discussed between administrators, teachers, and parents that represent the interests of the families, students, and then joint decisions are made. Will this tradition of open communication continue, and what can the PTA do to communicate with you effectively?
Well, I honestly, I probably still have my old PTA president on speed dial on my phone because we communicated that much. But I plan to be involved regularly. I know the PTA has regular meetings, and being involved in that so we can communicate the needs of the school, and they can determine how then they can support those needs in working with the administration, teachers, and families in the community.
Miss Case, what is your favorite food?
Oh, someone knows the way to my heart, and it's food. If I had to narrow it down to one food group, it would probably be sushi.
All right. And then I have a follow-up question. You've talked about some of the challenges and fun things that you do, but what is the weirdest challenge that you have done for school? Tell us the story.
Interesting. So, yeah, you saw some of them. I have done the dunk tank in freezing cold, and it was one of them. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. Like my heart was beating. It was so cold. But probably the weirdest thing, have you seen those big, they're like the clear big bubbles that you have to get in, and then they roll you around? For me, that was the worst thing ever because I'm a little bit claustrophobic. So for me, it may not seem weird to others, but for me, it was so weird and horrible. But it's for kids, so I did it.
That sounds like fun.
And Miss Case, I believe I have the last question for the evening. How familiar are you with the culture at El Paso? I think you've talked about that a little bit. And what's your plan to keep it alive? What are your top 3 priorities for our school? And I know you did touch on that already.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the culture. And again, I don't think that any learning can take place unless you have a culture within your school where people feel comfortable and they know that there are expectations and that they want to do the best that they can do. So I feel like my priorities are probably, again, the transition to school, making that good, more collaborative opportunities in performing, and then, as Mr. Ice said, sort of bringing that fresh set of eyes to the instructional strategies that are already there and empowering teachers to make sure that they are sharing their instructional strategies and they feel comfortable saying, hey, I did something amazing. You want to watch? Or, they should be able to brag on themselves. And if they're not comfortable, then at least their peers doing the same. So there's a big community amongst teachers.
Awesome. Now, Ms. Case, there may be some other questions that are popping up, I know, as people, and so I know you'll reach those later or talk about them later on or email those people because just for time purposes. I do want to share one from one student. That's a comment that just come in, and I know you can answer this one because it's your heart and soul. Do you like music?
I mean, and it doesn't matter what type of music. It's such an eclectic mix of music that I listen to. I love musicals. I love old rock. I love old country music, not the new stuff. There's just so much. And being a performer of music is, like I said, a big thing, whether it's playing on piano. I play in pit musicals. I play at a local church, or I did before COVID hit. And now I'm not going to have time probably. So but I play piano and I play the trombone, and I love it not only because of the performance and getting to share your emotions with others, but also the sense of community you get in performing, whether it's just making those friendships in the groups that you perform with. And some of those friendships I have, just from years. My strongest friend group is my musical theater group that we get together all the time. So it's empowering, I think.
That is awesome. Hey, I'm going to challenge you that when kids start coming back to the building, I want the piano in the middle of the performing arts wing, and you're just playing the piano as they're entering in. How about that? Maybe the trombone. You could do the trombone.
At the same time.
Perfect.
Miss Case, you have given us a lot of information today, but a little birdie told me that you have something extra special for us.
I do. I want to read a book to you tonight. So, and there's several reasons why I chose this book that I'll talk about. So, first of all, I have a list of 5 favorite animals, and puppies are, of course, number 1. But number 2 is the moose. I have a strong affinity for the moose, and this may be a little hard to see, but I'm going to bring you over here a little bit to my Christmas tree.
By the way, you got comments on your Christmas tree. I'm just going to say that right now. It's twinkling.
My office to keep me sane. So I have a Christmas tree, in fact. And so I have lots of ornaments. My daughter brought me this one from Yellowstone. This one's quite furry, so I like the texture on it. I have some that have, this one's fun because his legs jingle. See? And then this one lights up and the batteries are good. I think somebody's home because I'm so I have a strong affinity for moose. So you probably know then already that the book that I've chosen to read tonight is If You Give a Moose a Muffin.
Oh my goodness. Well, how about this? How about for the first time ever, we will go to the green room and enjoy those snacks, and you read your story, and then we'll come back in a minute. Is that cool?
Great. I love it. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
You know,
Enjoy the story, boys and
We're gonna say
girls.
goodbye. Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm going to get Miss French out.
All right. Okay, students. So I chose this book for, like I said, I like moose, but this particular copy that I have was given to me in 1996. This is the year my son was born. There's a little stain on it. The cover's gone. But the place, my very first school I worked at, gave me a book basket, and the people wrote inside the book little messages. So I found these very special and have kept a lot of these after the kids got done with them. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we're going to look at the title page. If You Give a Moose a Muffin. So I have to adjust here a little bit. So we could talk a little bit. This whole book is about cause and effect. You could do a whole lesson on cause and effect, but tonight we're just going to do this for fun. And I really want you to look at the illustrations as we go along too, because those are also one of my favorite things. I know we have a lot of budding artists out there, and the illustrations are what really make it come to life in my head. So if you get, I have to go this way. All right. If you give a moose a muffin, he'll want some jam to go with it. So you'll give him some of your mother's homemade blackberry jam. I think it's funny how little the muffin is by this great big moose. So when he's finished eating the muffin, he'll want another and another and another. Then when they're all gone, he'll ask you to make more. So you'll have to go to the store to get some muffin mix, and he'll want to go with you. But when he opens the door and feels how chilly it is, he'll ask to borrow a sweater. When he puts the sweater on, he'll notice one of the buttons is loose. So he'll ask for a needle and thread, and he'll start sewing. But the button will remind him of the puppets his grandmother used to make. Look at that. He actually made a mess and spilled the vase. The little kid looks a little worried, don't they? It'll all be okay. So he'll go get some socks, and then he's going to make sock puppets. Look at him. There's stuff everywhere as he's making these sock puppets. And when the sock puppets are done, he'll want to put on a puppet show. We all like putting on shows at El Paso. We know that much. And so to put on a show, he's going to need some cardboard and some paints. And then he'll ask you to help make the scenery. We've already talked about scenery and why it's so important. Look at them. And then when the scenery's finished, he'll get behind the couch. But you know what? His antlers are still showing. So he'll ask for something to cover them up. Well, you'll go get a sheet from your bed. This can't turn out good. When he sees the sheet, he'll remember that he wants to be a ghost for Halloween. Boom! It'll scare him so much, he'll knock over the paints. So he'll use the sheet to clean up the mess, and then he'll ask for some soap to wash it out. He'll probably want to hang up the sheet to dry. Look, he's got it hanging on his antlers. And then he'll go outside to put it on the clothesline. But when he's out in the yard, he'll see your mother's blackberry bushes. Seeing the blackberry bushes will remind him of her jam. And he'll probably ask you for some. What do you think's going to happen? And if he asks you for that jam, he's going to want a muffin to go with it. And that brings us back to the very beginning and the whole circle again. So I love this book. I love the illustrations, and I like how it loops back around. And one thing causes another thing, and it just snowballs into a big mess. But they're definitely enjoying their muffins. Oh, enjoying muffins.
Hey,
I have a lot of moose here.
Miss Case, I love that story so much that I had to get my muffin and my moose ears, and that was a fantastic story. Thank you.
Thank
And I
you.
already finished my muffin because it was so good, but I'm still drinking my hot chocolate.
I love it. Well, I just think that the moose, I love the moose, and I imagine that he talks something like this. But, there's not moose dialogue. It's told from a different person. But,
Miss Case, Miss French Epps ate all the muffins in the green room, so I didn't get one.
Well, I can make a muffin.
Okay,
Sorry.
And can mail it to you.
okay, that would be good because Miss French Epps ate them all.
I was really hungry, and her story inspired me.
Right, fine. Miss Case, it's been so wonderful getting to know you a little bit more tonight. And if families want to get to know more about you, they can email you. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. I've already reached out to some parents, and if we didn't get your question answered tonight, or if you think of one, shoot me an email. I don't really have a phone number for Lincoln right now, but I will when after January gets here. So please email
That's
me.
your email address. Is that correct?
That is
It's right there.
All right. Now, what we do is we always point down. Can you point down? Perfect.
There you go. It's right there.
So you can email Miss Case, and she can get back to you.
Without a doubt.
This was so much fun. Thank you very much. And I really enjoyed that story.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess this is where we say goodbye, right?
This is where we say goodbye. Everybody enjoy a muffin.
Bye, everybody.
Say goodbye to us.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.